Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional one-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said to fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and/or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leet was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters contention for next month's 1,000 guineas at the same venue. It was an impressive performance by the Stuart Williams-trained 3-year-old, who settled down after a slow start and just about edged out America Queen in the final half furlong, with Act of Kindness a length and a half further behind in third. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as Liverpool expect Hugo Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional one-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said to fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and/or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leith was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters contention for next month's 1,000 guineas at the same venue. It was an impressive performance by the Stuart Williams-trained 3-year-old, who settled down after a slow start and just about edged out America Queen in the final half furlong, with Act of Kindness a length and a half further behind in third. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as Liverpool expect Hugo Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old, who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional 1-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said to fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leith was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters contention for next month's 1,000 guineas at the same venue. It was an impressive performance by the Stuart Williams-trained 3-year-old, who settled down after a slow start and just about edged out America Queen in the final half furlong, with Act of Kindness a length and a half further behind in third. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as Liverpool expect Hugo Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional one-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said. Fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leet was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters contention for next month's 1,000 guineas at the same venue. It was an impressive performance by the Stuart Williams-trained 3-year-old, who settled down after a slow start and just about edged out America Queen in the final half furlong, with Act of Kindness a length and a half further behind in third. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as Liverpool expect Hugo Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional one-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said. Fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leith was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters contention for next month's 1,000 guineas at the same venue. It was an impressive performance by the Stuart Williams-trained 3-year-old, who settled down after a slow start and just about edged out America Queen in the final half furlong, with Act of Kindness a length and a half further behind in third. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as Liverpool expect Hugo Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old, who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional 1-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said to fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leith was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters contention for next month's 1,000 guineas at the same venue. It was an impressive performance by the Stuart Williams-trained 3-year-old, who settled down after a slow start and just about edged out America Queen in the final half furlong, with Act of Kindness a length and a half further behind in third. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as Liverpool expect Hugo Ekitike to miss this summer's World Cup with France, and the forward is unlikely to return to action until after the start of next season following the suspected Achilles injury he suffered during the Reds' Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. It is a major blow for the 23-year-old, who has been enjoying a fine first season with Liverpool, whom he joined from Eintracht Frankfurt last summer, scoring 17 goals and providing 6 assists across all competitions. Elsewhere in football, and Harry Maguire will miss Manchester United's clash with Chelsea in the Premier League on Saturday after receiving an additional one-match ban following his sending off against Bournemouth last month. The England international was dismissed after conceding a penalty in the 2-2 draw at the Vitality Stadium. He was then later charged with improper conduct by the FA for something he said. Fourth official Matt Donoghue as he made his way off the field. Maguire has also been fined £30,000 by the FA, who said the 33-year-old acted in an improper manner and or used abusive or insulting words towards the fourth official. Away from football and in tennis, Jamie Murray has announced his retirement from playing. Murray enjoyed a glittering career, winning 7 Grand Slam titles. He also became the first British doubles player to rise to the top of the world rankings. Murray had not played since last August's US Open, but he has said he is excited to now enter the real world. Murray, who is 40, of course, is the older brother of Andy Murray, and he won 2 of his 34 doubles titles with his younger brother. The duo also teamed up to devastating effect to help Great Britain win the Davis Cup in 2015. Elsewhere, and Murray is not the only British sportsman retiring, as in rugby union, former England lock Joe Launchbury has confirmed he will hang up his boots at the end of the club season. With Harlequins, Launchbury won 70 caps for England and was part of 3 successful Six Nations campaigns, as well as featuring at 2 World Cups. He has played 50 times for Quins since joining them in 2023. Finally, in horse racing, as Leet was a shock 50-1 winner of the Group 3 Nell Gwyn Stakes on day 2 of Newmarket's Craven meeting on Wednesday, and as a result now enters
We'll leave that there because we're now underway for this Champions League quarter-final second leg between Arsenal and Sporting. It's myself, Will Maxwell and Kieran Graham taking you through this one, and as the ball has just gone out of play for an early goal kick for Sporting, I will run you through the lineups once again if you did miss them in the earlier preamble. So for Arsenal, it's David Raya in goal, Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel and Hincapié in the back 4. Zubamendi and Rice are the holding midfielders, with Madueke, Eze and Martinelli supporting Victor Gyökeres up top. For Sporting, it's Araujo at the back with Inacio Diamonde and Quaresma, Silva between the sticks. Morita, Hjulmand are the 2 in holding midfield, Gonçalves, Trincao and Catamo supporting Luis Suarez as their lone striker. As I mentioned, I'm joined in the commentary booth today by Kieran Graham. And Kieran, it's a big night for Arsenal. Do you think they've got what it takes to get over this hurdle, considering their sticky form?
They absolutely have what it takes. It's more a mentality thing, isn't it? And that's just the question of Arsenal recently over the last few weeks, and ultimately they haven't been able to really prove people wrong. I'll quickly break off because they're on the attack now.
Eze finds Gyökeres trying to return the favour to Ebere Eze, who went down looking for a foul on the edge of the area. The referee today, Francois Letexier, was uninterested. It was a decent build-up by the Gunners, who attacked with pace but were unable to get the strike away at the last. We're yet to see a replay of that challenge, but Ebere Eze was not exactly happy with the decision by the referee, but they carved open Sporting with relative ease there.
Yeah, it was. There's just a good challenge in the middle of the park from Arsenal. It allowed them to get on the counter-attack. Victor Gyökeres, against his former club, will be well and truly up for this, won't he? As well, there's a goal early doors in Germany. Real Madrid have made it 1-0. I covered the first leg of that game, and Bayern Munich absolutely hammered them at the Bernabeu. What a start to that game. Fingers crossed we can get plenty of goals at the Emirates too.
Yes, Arda Güler has levelled the tie on Aguirre. It's now 2 apiece between Bayern and Real Madrid, but 1-0 to Los Blancos on the night, as Declan Rice takes the free kick quickly down the line for Gabriel Martinelli. He gets away from Catamo, digs out a cross on a great delivery, turned away by Gonçalves. Luis Suarez runs into traffic, loses out to Mosquera. Eze tries to flick it in towards Madueke, turned away by Inacio. Now a chance for the visitors to maraud forward with Morita. who just gets the ball stuck underneath his feet at the last. Poor play in the end. It was actually Luis Suarez, that was trying to bring the ball forward for the visitors. He turns around to Francois Letexier asking for the free kick, but I think that was more out of hope than anything because he knows he messed up there.
Yeah, and he's got a big game today, has Luis Suarez. I covered Sporting Lisbon's comeback against Bodo Glimt where they won 5-0 after 120 minutes. One of the best games I've covered since being in this job. They were absolutely outstanding to him, and players like Goncalves, Suarez and Trincao especially were so good. All of those players in the starting lineup today, got to get Trincao involved in this game. He's almost like a second striker at times. Maybe just floats around Luis Suarez, who leads the line, but there's enough firepower in this side, enough quality in this Sporting Lisbon side to cause a problem for Arsenal today. I guess for Arsenal, the question is, and Mikel Arteta, we know that in games like these, maybe can get in his own head about whether to go for it to kill them off or be a little bit wary, and then you end up getting caught out. So it's interesting to see what Arsenal's approach is actually going to be. They've been quite steady so far, just trying to look after possession.
They are just focusing on keeping the ball and moving it from side to side. As I mentioned, there is obviously that early goal between Bayern and Real Madrid. There are also 2 games in League One which will keep you abreast of the goals in those contests. It's Wimbledon against Stockport and Luton against Northampton. Both those games kicked off at 7:45, so about 15 minutes ahead of ours. Declan Rice comes inwards for Martin Zubimendi, who turns away and plays it to the right for William Saliba. Now finding support in Ebere Eze. Madueke ahead of him, little drop of the shoulder. Eventually flicks it into Madueke, who's well tackled by the pounce of Araujo, who toes the ball out of play for a throw-in for Arsenal on this near right-hand side. Obviously the Gunners have a massive game on Sunday as they make the trip to the Etihad Stadium to face the title challengers of Manchester City in Manchester. Currently a 6-point gap with City with a game in hand. If they win both those games, it would be level on points and they would likely be favourites for the title. How important is it for Arsenal to go into that game, not only by getting through this time, getting through to the next round, but winning in a convincing manner?
Yeah, confidence is needed. Something has to go, doesn't it, for Arsenal that just really gives them that moment. I think maybe just a moment of winning to spend with their fans at full time. Everybody applauding them, everybody quite clearly riled up, that's going to get them through the end of this season. Like I said, that victory, whatever competition it comes in, this one on the Premier League, just so important at the moment. We see Eze in possession now under a bit of pressure from Araujo. Sharp turn from him.
Lovely skill, and he's found a way through to Noni Madueke. Gets it out of his feet. Hincapié goes for goal. Well blocked by the recovery challenge of Morita. And it goes for Eze, who can't quite get there in front of Hjulmand. Rice with the interception. Zubimendi will mop up and find Hincapié. This is better from the Gunners, who goes down after a little clip from Hjulmand, but Martinelli will get away and tries around his man. A vital recovery challenge in the end by Quaresma to knock it out for a corner kick for the Gunners.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good battle between Martinelli and Quaresma. Quaresma, a natural centre-half, although not the quickest of players, so he's going to have a tricky time out of position out on that right-hand side, up against a really quick, direct winger in Martinelli. Just seeing the step-overs from Eze in the build-up of that was a lovely play from him to get away from Araujo, but a corner coming up now. Yeah,
corner kick for the Gunners. Against Bournemouth, they were really poor in creating chances from open play. It was set pieces that made the game a bit more competitive. Will it be set pieces again that opens the door as Rice goes towards the far post? Zubimendi can't rise high enough to get a meaningful header onto it. In fact, it has glanced off the top of his head and gone out of play for a goal kick. An uncharacteristically poor corner there by Declan Rice.
Yeah, exactly. Completely overhit from the midfielder. A little bit disappointing in that sense, because we know that the set piece is so important for Arsenal this season and the success they've had this season so far. But Sporting Lisbon get us back in the way. They've yet to really have their moment so far in the opening 7 minutes. It has been a majority of the Gunners so far.
Yes, it has been mostly Arsenal so far, as we have a throw-in for Sporting on this near right-hand side. There's a fantastic travelling support today from Portugal. And they've filled out that away end to the brim, and they're in full voice trying to guide their side past this mammoth hurdle of the Gunners and into the final four of the Champions League. The winner, of course, will go on to face Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid after they avoided a scare against Barcelona, who managed to make the comeback from 2-0 down to 2-2. But an Ademola Lookman strike meant that Atletico were able to come away victorious 3-2 on the night. Both these sides will probably fancy their chances of making that game incredibly competitive against Atletico, probably none more so than Arsenal, who were comprehensive winners against Simeone's men in the league phase.
Yeah, they were. I covered that game as well. They absolutely hammered Atletico in that game. Atletico, granted, actually had a couple of chances, especially through Alvarez, who missed a great chance. He also kind of run off the crossbar at the Emirates in that one. But yeah, that'd be a great game. Sporting Lisbon versus Atletico would be a great game. I covered Atletico last night against Barcelona. I thought when it went 2-0 to Barcelona in the 24th minute, it looked like this was only ever going to go one way because they were hammering them. Credit to Simeone and his side, they really adapted. And we know what they're like, out of possession, frustrating sides. We know Arsenal can be like that as well, so it'd be an interesting game between those two sides if it is Arsenal to progress.
Yes, of course, there is still plenty of football to be played in our game. Just over 9 minutes gone. Remains goalless between the two. No real chances for either side, at least no shots to alert you to. There is another goal between Bayern and Real Madrid, though Bayern have reclaimed the advantage as Alexander Pavlovic has equalised at home for Bayern. Only 8 minutes gone in that game, already 2 goals. That definitely looks like the game of the night. Not only in Europe, but probably over the course of the games in England as well, as Wimbledon against Stockport and Luton against Northampton also remain goalless. As Araujo takes a throw in deep inside Arsenal territory, back it goes towards Gonzalo Inacio, threaded ball in towards Hjulmand, who does well to get away from Zubamendi. Gonçalves, lovely skill, holds on to it, almost got away from Saliba, but did too much, and Saliba will roll it out towards Noni Madueke, and Arsenal will try and play their way out of trouble, and in doing so, Gyökeres will beat Inacio to it. The ball's taken off his toe, and Sporting can reclaim possession once more. They're growing into the game more and more, Sporting, after it was a relatively bright start from the Gunners in terms of how they were attacking, but now the visitors are getting plenty of the possession. Yeah,
they are. They're starting to grow into it a little bit more. They've had a couple of minutes of having possession, haven't had a shot, haven't had an opportunity as of yet, but just they need to grow into it that little bit first, just to maybe grow the confidence.
On the right-hand side is Casimo. He'll lay that back towards Hjulmand. Now with Gonzalo Inacio once again. Towards the left-hand side in Araujo. Finding support in Inacio once more. Morita with a bit of space. He looks for the ball over the top for Araujo, who slips in an awkward moment, but then almost gets away from Mosquera. Fantastic recovery challenge by the Spaniard to find Zubamendi, and now Madueke, who's got pace, will look to get away from Morita. Big opportunity here now for the Arsenal winger. Just stunts his run to try and draw Morita in, and then rolls it into Zubamendi. Not the greatest of passes. Zubamendi on the stretch, holds on to it, and finds Declan Rice, who's got the overlap in Hincapié. Rice might fancy in chances, goes for goal, comfortably blocked by Sporting, who could now hit them on the counter here as Luis Suarez picks up possession. Rolling it back to Hjulmand. Acres of space here for Morita to run into. Game getting a little bit stretched. Morita finding Trincao over towards the right-hand side in Catamo, who will just slow down his run and focus on holding on to possession. And Sporting recycle in the middle of the park. Araujo won't try and take on his man. Again goes back towards Inacio. Seems to be a lack of bravery at the moment from Sporting. They're focusing on holding on to possession, but they're not going for the jugular.
Yeah, I thought they could have really gone at Arsenal on that counter-attack. Trincao just wanted to slow things down. That surprises me. With how I've seen Sporting Lisbon play as of late, they like to usually go for the jugular that little bit more, but that's better for Nkatomo. Gets the better of his man.
Yes, he's looking to get away from Hincapié. Goes down, looking for a penalty. Rides around in agony. Hincapié furious with Catamo. He thinks he's gone down incredibly cheaply. And I think Francois Letexier is just going over to tell the Ecuadorian just to calm down a little bit. We're seeing a replay. Was there any contact? There is a slight kick to the foot of Catamo, but he takes a few steps and then throws himself to the ground.
Yeah, I don't think he kicks through him. It's almost like he kicks, taps him and moves his foot away. There's not enough for a penalty. You can maybe understand why Catamo goes down. It might be just a real sore one on his ankle, one that stings instant impact, but It's never a penalty, in my opinion. And the referee's just made it very clear. VAR says no penalty.
Yes, and he's been rolling around on the ground for quite some time, Catabo. It's semi-embarrassing because looking at the replay, the contact would not make you think that it's painful because there's no like studs to shin or to ankle contact.
Yeah.
He's felt contact and he's trying to make the most out of it to try and get the referee to change his decision. But I think players nowadays just need to realise that if it's not going to go your way initially with that first decision, VAR will get involved and back you up if necessary. You don't need the theatrics.
Yeah, you don't. You never know. It could have been one of those. Like I said, it was almost like he'd toe poked his ankle and it initially pushed his foot away. On impact, may have just been one of those that just stings initially, and he thought, right, I felt the contact, I'm in a little bit of pain, I'll go down. But yeah, it's never ever a penalty.
We await play to resume. Our off-tube studio fixtures focuses in on the Emirates Stadium. There were still plenty of tickets for this game, even today, to be bought. There are some empty seats around the Emirates Stadium, but not too many, it must be said. As Declan Rice looks to bring this ball further up the field for the Gunners, lays it back towards Gabriel, will get the ball back, the Arsenal captain. Martinelli, back it goes for Gabriel. Allowed to hold on to the ball by Sporting. Gabriel begging for some movement, which he's just not getting. An awkward ball back to Zubimendi, forces David Raya under pressure. He'll just have to launch that ball away. And the nod on by Araujo will find Trincao, who can't keep the ball in, and that'll be a throw-in for the Gunners, but they are almost the architects of their own downfall there, Kieran.
Yeah, they certainly were. Once again, just Zubimendi into Raya. He's getting a bit of flack as of late. And Zubimendi, isn't he, for his performances in an Arsenal? So maybe some of them warranted, some of it not. He's had quite a steady season, hasn't he? He's always going to be that player that's not flashy. He's just almost there to make it tick along. It's like that. The neutral player in a training session where he's got the bib on and he maybe plays for both teams and he just recycles the ball, plays the simple passes. But yeah, he's been quite poor over the last few games, that is for sure. I think a lot of them have for Arsenal. They look a little bit sharper today. They can tell that you never know whether they want to really go for it and find this first goal on the night or take a steady approach, because they're having a little bit of a mixture. But only the 2 shots so far, both half chances from outside the box.
Yes, it still hasn't been enough for me to warrant writing those shots down on my sheets of paper. I think both were blocked at source. There is another goal to tell you about. This one coming in League One, and a bit of a shock goal really, so soon after lifting silverware in the Papa John's Trophy. Luton Town, well, they're 1-0 down at home against Northampton, as Sam Hoskins has given the relegated threatened visitors the lead there, which would see them leapfrog Rotherham and Port Vale and go up into 22nd. Still quite some way from safety, as David Raya almost has his pocket picked by Luis Suarez. Does well to get out of his feet at the last. Madueke then loses the ball to Araujo. Arsenal very sloppy in possession at the moment as Sporting continue to be a menace. And Hjulmund will get away from Eze with ease, and he rolls it in for Luis Suarez. And this is an opportunity here for Sporting. Suarez goes for goal, got right across it. It's nowhere near the back of the net. In fact, it's gone out for a throw-in, and the offside flag has gone up anyway.
Yeah, offside in the end. Not a great shot though, was it, from Suarez? See it back now. Yeah, he's about a whole boot, maybe half of his body offside in the end. But that's where Sporting Lisbon have to be dangerous. When they pick up the ball, they have to just go direct, looking behind. Suarez is really quick. So is Saliba and Gabriel, but that's why it could be a great battle, him going in behind them at times in this game. But 17 minutes on the clock. Sporting Lisbon growing into it, but not creating any chances as of yet.
Nothing meaningful currently for Sporting as Declan Rice rolls it over towards Christian Mosquera. Back it goes for the Arsenal captain. Let's go back towards the Spaniard. The movement off the ball is rather static at the moment by the Gunners as Saliba rolls it over for Martin Zubimendi. Gabriel happy to go back to David Raya once again. There's no cutting edge to Arsenal's play at the moment. They've been forced just to play it round their defensive third for the vast majority. Sloppy pass by Saliba is completely cut off by Hjulmand, and now here comes Sporting down the right-hand side as Trincao looks to second Gabriel, gets a strike away. That's not too far away. Closest either side have come to getting the opener in this contest. Really poor pass by Saliba, comfortably picked off by Hjulmand, and Trincao's effort so close to giving the visitors the opener.
Well, that's the stuff that's settled into Arsenal's game for some reason over the last few weeks, and it's why they get this stick, because that stuff always seems to happen right at the end of the season for Arsenal. You would never have seen Saliba do that 2 months ago, would you? You just wouldn't. Whether it is true, it's just a bit of a mindset thing, whether it's nerves. It's a terrible pass. It's a great run from Trincao. I pinpointed him in the opening minutes of this game that he's going to be a key man today, but that's a good challenge from Madueke. It falls to Gyökeres, who goes for goal. He's skied it. What an opportunity. Yes, he's outside the box. Very central, under no real pressure. Victor Gyökeres has got to be doing better there. It's great work from Madueke, though.
Yeah, opened up in front of him, and against his former employees, he would have loved to have found the back of the net. Went for power rather than placement, and it just rises high over the crossbar. Better from Arsenal in terms that they pressed high up the field, they won possession back, and immediately looked to try and catch Sporting out. Just the execution not quite there at the end there from the Swede.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's a really poor effort from him in the end. He tries to almost just side foot it into the near top corner. Would have taken some incredible technique that he's just not able to do. But in the end, we now see Madueke in possession, and still back on the ball.
They are with Saliba. Rolls it over towards Gabriel. Back to the Frenchman. Slowly pressurised by the green and white hoops of Sporting. But Madueke's done well to find a Eze. That's a really sloppy pass, though, by the former Crystal Palace man. Hincapié does well to just about take it off the toe of Catamo and get the ball out wide for Martinelli. Eze, drop of the shoulder, gets away from Hjulmand. Support to his left in Hincapié. Here is the Ecuadorian. Dangerous ball in, flicked away by Inacio. That'll be mopped up by Saliba, will it? No, really well played by Luis Suarez to win possession back there for Sporting, but his pass is cut out by Piero Hincapié, and that will be mopped up once again by Gabriel Magalhaes. Rice to Zubamendi inside the centre circle for the Gunners. Madueke, he's been scythed down there by a Sporting man. I think it was Gonçalves that caught the back of Noni Madueke's heels. That'll be a free kick, and definitely shooting territory.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good opportunity to go for goal here. You think Declan Rice would be the man who puts this ball down and maybe he wants to roll back the years. He's maybe seeing this angle, seems way further out. I'd actually be quite surprised if they go for goal from this one. Maybe a better crossing position. It does seem a little bit further out and a little bit wider in that sense, but I mean, you never know. We've seen free kicks being scored from all sorts of what you'd quote-unquote say crossing positions. So, maybe Declan Rice will just have a look at the goalkeeper's positioning, but I'd be surprised if he goes for goal.
Well, his first free kick strike against Real Madrid last season was from further out, but he's gone short to Eze and then tries to quickly get the shot away, but it's poor from the former Palace man. And now it's an opportunity on the counter here for Sporting as Catamo tries to drive. Fantastic recovery challenge by Gabriel Martinelli, tracking back to take it off the toe of the Sporting man. That's exactly what Arsenal needed there after sloppily losing possession, and ball down the line. Won't find Mosquera, who then bundles over his man, and that'll be a free kick to Sporting.
Great work from Martinelli. I tell you what, he's more known for using his speed to try beat players. Well, he was instantly getting back. That's why you leave a player back like him, because Katamo's not slow at all either. He's the Sporting Lisbon man, and Martinelli's not really known for his physical attributes either, is he? But he just leans across his man. It's actually weak from Jenny Katamo more than anything, but it's really good defending, great covering, type of stuff that Mikel Arteta will really want from his side. Just to see that little bit of hunger, that'll have got the crowd going as well.
Saliba rolls it in for Zubamendi. Declan Rice caught there surely by Hjulmand. No foul by the referee, and Eze can't find Noni Madueke. Falls back towards Gonçalves. Then it's Zubamendi come flying in. He wins possession and wins the free kick as well. It's a few late tackles now by Gonçalves. Doesn't look like he is going to get a yellow card. But on the stretch, looking at that angle, it's difficult to know how much contact there was. But he's definitely got himself involved in these early exchanges of the first half, as Declan Rice is seemingly a bit winded after taking a clattering earlier on by Kasper Hjulmand. Well, we are past the halfway stage of this first half. It is still goalless between Arsenal and Sporting, and taking us through to half-time, and hopefully with our opening goal of the second leg will be Kieran Graham.
Yeah, thank you very much, Will. As we see Arsenal ready to take this free kick now, it's going to be Zubimendi who goes across towards Saliba, back to the Spaniard once again, under no real pressure. There's not really been a press, has there, from Sporting Lisbon so far. Ball into Eze, he plays it around the corner for Mosquera, plays a short pass in towards Madueke, but Araujo gets a foot in, but can only give away a throw-in that goes the way of Arsenal. So Mosquera with the ball in hand. Interesting that he went with Mosquera at right back ahead of Ben White tonight, a more natural right back on the bench. Ben White's had a tricky time as of late for Arsenal, of course, as Madueke gets the better of his man. He goes down, he wins a free kick. Well, the Sporting Lisbon players are starting to get very frustrated with the referee, because it feels like they're not really getting any decisions. They're all going the way of Arsenal, but I mean, he does just leave out a bit of a lazy leg.
It leaves out a leg, the ball goes through his legs, and you could argue there's a slight touch by the calf of Morita, but it is still a foul by the Sporting player, and I can understand their frustrations. They might think decisions are going against them, but I don't think the referee has got a decision incorrect yet. I think all of these tackles, some you could potentially argue are soft, but they are still fouls at the end of the day.
Yeah, they are. As you see this free kick ready to be taken now, let's see what they can potentially conjure up with the main men in the box. The likes of Gabriel and Saliba and Gyökeres being the main targets from these situations. It's going to be Madueke who whips this one in on his left boot. The type of position where you want to get some real pace, real power and good accuracy, where if everybody misses it, it could still maybe creep in at that back post. As Madueke is ready to take these now, he goes for that approach, but the goalkeeper does well, and he comes to claim it fairly quickly. He wants to restart play quickly as well, but he's forced to slow it down because of a lack of options from his outfield players. So he rolls it into Hjulmand, who finds Inácio. Back to Hjulmand, who's under a little bit of pressure in his own area. Morita then to the right hand side. Sporting Lisbon accepting of the pressure from Arsenal, willing to try and play through it. Arsenal looked like they were going to try and force the mistake, but then have taken maybe that little bit of a step back for the time being. As you now see Diomande, he's going to go all the way back to Rui Silva, and that's credit to Arsenal's out of possession shape, forcing some problems now. Rui Silva switches it to the right hand side, doesn't find any form of teammate, but the header from Declan Rice goes back towards Diomande. Now it's Hjulmand into the Ivorian once again, plays it across his own penalty area. Inácio takes a risky touch under some pressure from Madueke, but just about finds a teammate. As this is nice football, really nice football from Sporting Lisbon. It's now Morita who's going to carry it into the Arsenal half as they create themselves some space. Ball on the left hand side. Araujo plays a lovely 1-2 with Goncalves. Araujo gets there, plays it off Mosquera behind for a corner. Best move of the game from the visitors.
Yeah, fantastic play there by Sporting to carve open Arsenal and get their way further forward after looking like they're in danger of losing possession in their own defensive third. They did so well to get away and beat the press. Then Araujo just a matter of inches away from whipping a dangerous ball in. Great recovery by Mosquera, but now the big boys of Sporting can come forward and they could be dangerous here.
Yeah, they could be. Inácio scored in that second leg from a set piece against Bodo Glimt. As we're waiting for this to be taken now. It's going to be an in-swinging delivery from Goncalves, flicked on at the front post. It's still within the penalty area. Backwards header from Araujo. He's knocked down. It's still not cleared. And then finally, Gabriel just wellies his left boot through. Arsenal, not the most convincing of defending initially. Struggled to clear it at the first time of asking.
Yeah, Arsenal sort of struggled to get a hold of that ball there when it was bobbling around in the middle of the park. They just had to get a boot through it and launch the ball away from danger. The last thing Arsenal and Arsenal fans would want is, let alone conceding a goal to have the tie level. That'd be bad enough, but if it's come from a defensive error, that is going to infuriate the Arsenal fans watching on.
Yeah, especially with the errors that have been happening as of late. As you now see Gabriel, really good play from him, carried it into the opposition half. The pass from Madueke is not the best, but the forward pass from Diomande is pretty poor as well. So Arsenal back on the front foot. Mosquera turns away to find Eberechi Eze, turns away from Goncalves, plays it through the middle. Nice dummy from the referee to let it go through to Declan Rice. Now it's going to be with Hincapie. Turns away from Katama. Back for Declan Rice. Now it's in the middle with Zubimendi. Once again for Martinelli, who's gone pretty central in this attack. Saliba across to Mosquera again on the right hand side. Like we said, not a natural right back, so he's never going to really look to take his man on or drive at his man on. He's looking for the simple pass so far. As you now see Martinelli across to Declan Rice as they're just working it from left to right, right to left. It seems just trying to carve out an opening from this pretty compact Sporting Lisbon defensive setup. Now see Gabriel, who finds Eberechiesa. Gabriel again in towards the English midfielder. He plays a ball in behind it. It's nice play. Falls to Gyökeres with a chance. I don't think he ever really got his shot off, did the Swedish striker. It's cleared away by Inacio. Big defending, but a half chance there. But I'm not sure he ever got his shot off.
No, I don't think he did either. I'm not sure if he's expecting it, because Zubimendi on the stretch somehow manages to force it past his marker and into the path of Victor Gyökeres as their ball by Martelli is cut out by Katamo and goes out for a corner kick for the Gunners. Gyökeres was in a fantastic position. We're seeing a replay here. Does he get a touch to it? I don't think he does. I think Inacio just defends that absolutely perfectly, and Gyökeres just can do absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah, he's good defending in the end, isn't it? As you know, just see that going back once again. Just waiting for this corner to be taken now. It's going to be the in-swing delivery of Declan Rice. A couple of things being thrown at him from that Sporting Lisbon away end as they're trying to maybe put him off. Declan Rice ready to take this one once more. This has to be better than the first corner we saw. It's once again heavy towards the back post. Zubimendi wins his header straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. Really,
really poor again. They're trying to go towards the back post for Gabriel, who can't get away from his marker, being manhandled, but probably fairly. And it's one of the smallest players on the field for us when Zubimendi trying to nod it back. It's really, really poor from Declan Rice so far. I'm not sure if he's being affected by the knock he picked up from Hjulmand earlier. I think he was carrying a knock coming into the game anyway, but maybe his performances are just beginning to show that he's not quite at his best today.
Yeah, certainly isn't. Hasn't been for a little while. Declan Rice, ball with Trincao. He plays it on the right hand side. It's a nice ball and a strike at goal that goes over the bar from Goncalves, and he knows that it's a great opportunity. He puts it over the bar. I thought that Trincao was maybe going to go for goal himself. What a poor effort. What a chance for Sporting.
Yeah, big opportunity there for Goncalves. Just opened up in front of him and he went for power rather than any form of accuracy, launching it over the crossbar. Got to at the very least be testing David Raya there.
Yes, you now see Madueke. He cuts onto his left boot, takes a heavy touch, strong challenge from Diamande. Attack still alive. There's another big goal in the other Champions League game. Ardagula's grabbed his second to level things up again. Here comes Sporting Lisbon on the counter-attack. Katama wins it. It's going to be Morita. He looks to switch play to the right-hand side. Great ball for Trincao. What a touch from him as well, looking to get the better of Gabriel. Good defending from Gabriel, but he's caught in possession by Hjulmand. Now it's going to be Trincao. Ball to Goncalves. Definitely got the tails up a little bit, Sporting Lisbon, playing some nice stuff. Starting to pile the pressure on. Like I said, that goal for Real Madrid, a big one, makes it, of course, the level score on aggregate. As we now see the ball on the right-hand side. It's with Trincao. Goncalves. He's going to look for a dinked ball over the top to the left-hand side. Araujo gets there with a touch. It's a poor touch in the end. And it goes out of play for a goal kick.
They're looking dangerous at the moment, Sporting. They're looking like the side the likeliest to score in this first half because the gaps are opening up and they're doing their best to exploit them. Just the final ball and the decision-making hasn't been up to scratch so far for Rui Borges' men. There is another goal as well to tell you about, this one in the EFL. Just before half-time, Luton have equalised. One apiece now at home against Northampton. Liam Walsh getting the goal.
Yes, you now see the ball down the right-hand side, well intercepted by Inacio, who clears his lines. He hammers it long, and Luis Suarez does really well up against Saliba. Has no one helping him. He actually gets the decision in the end. Great work from Suarez to finally win the free kick. They were feeling like they've not been getting the referee's decisions so far, getting a bit frustrated with them. But they do get the decision on this occasion, and I don't know. I think they could have had other decisions rather than that in this one, Sporting Lisbon. It felt like they were both going at each other, and they were both making the same expression towards the referee. But free kick ready to be taken now. 32.5 minutes on the clock. If you are just tuning in, remains Arsenal 0, Sporting Lisbon 0. 1-0 to Arsenal on aggregate. If you offered that to this scoreline to the Arsenal fans, they'd absolutely take it, but they definitely want something to cheer, something to celebrate in terms of goals, in terms of an actual victory on the night as well, which would do them the world of good, especially at home. But Trincão's going to whip this delivery, and that's a really poor free kick whipped in. Araujo's then going to step in, win it back, but it goes out for a throw, and that's a waste of a set piece.
It is a waste of a set piece there. Really poor delivery, cleared away its source. I'm sure Rui Borges isn't going to be happy with his side for not making use of that opportunity, but I also think Arsenal and Mikel Arteta will be annoyed that they weren't able to make use of what could have been a promising counter-attack. For me, Ebere Eze today has just been... He's been far too casual on the ball. He's sort of been lethargic at times, doesn't seem to be moving with a great deal of pace or energy, and he was just trying to sort of glide past a Sporting player to try and start off the counter-attack, when just a quick ball around the side would have set off a teammate. He hasn't had the greatest performance for me today so far, Eze.
No, he hasn't. Sometimes he can struggle, can't he? You can sense it in this Arsenal side. Almost feels if they're not called Tottenham Hotspur, maybe he's not going to be on his 10 out of 10 game, Eberechi Eze, which he absolutely has been over those 2 games against their bitter rivals, who maybe could laugh at Arsenal as of late, but maybe need to focus on themselves that little bit more as well, because Spurs seeming like they're in a one-way ticket to the Championship at the moment. Who'd have thought that? Where at the start of this season, imagine someone told you that, you'd have laughed at them. But we now see Madueke turns away, finds Gabriel, who's got options ahead, plays it for Eze, looks for a flick on, that's a little bit better from him. Gyökeres's return pass isn't a great one, and then Trincão battling with Hincapié. Good work from the Ecuadorian, who was losing balance the whole time, but keeps it alive. We now see the ball on the left-hand side with Martinelli. He takes it down the channel. He's still going left-footed ball into the penalty area, looking for the head of Mosquera. Well headed away once and twice, but now he's back in the area. It's a bit of pinball between the two sides. Sporting Lisbon finally clear their line. Suarez and Gabriel going at it the whole way. Suarez lashes out at Gabriel. The referee plays advantage because it's a decent ball from David Raya. In the end, Gabriel back to his feet, but good battle to watch. The Colombian versus the Brazilian. Wasn't surprised that one of them ended up hitting the deck. Eze goes down. It was a fair challenge though, as Marita come forwards. It's intercepted by Zubimendi, goes out for a throw, but a couple of key battles to watch out for.
Yeah, and I feel like the game is just getting a little bit more aggressive now. A bit of a collision there between Gabriel and Suarez off the ball. I think Suarez maybe told Gabriel to get up as well, so that could be an interesting battle going forward. And Eze was dispossessed as well by a forceful challenge, but chance here for the Gunners.
Yeah, and it's Gyökeres, tries the reverse pass. I'm not too sure why. He gets lucky, it's in the penalty area. Martinelli goes for goal, blocked away. And then Hjulman puts his boot through it in the end. Well, they're having the half chances, aren't they, Arsenal? But they're all getting blocked at the moment. Now it's going to be Katama on this right-hand side. Just the 2 shots so far for Sporting Lisbon. I believe Arsenal may have had 5 or 6 at the moment. Hjulman then goes across towards the left. Now it's going to come back to Hjulman again on the right-hand side. Plays it to the side of him for Goncalves. Not a lot of options on the left-hand side, so keeps it on this right. He plays it back for Hjulman. Now it's going to go with Quaresma. It's almost at times like a bit of a 3 at the back, isn't it, for Sporting Lisbon? Quaresma is almost a right centre-half with Katomo as a wing-back, with Araujo as the other wing-back. And once again, there's a forward ball that just doesn't stick. David Raya plays a risky ball into Mosquera. Araujo's pouncing on him, barely touches him. Free kick given in the end. I think he's lucky there. He's Mosquera, really lucky because he found himself under a lot of pressure. Yeah,
you're absolutely spot on. He is really fortunate because it's a poor touch by Mosquera and he just rounds Araujo. Looking at that replay, contact is minimal if there at all. I think I am now beginning to get more into the camp for Rui Borges that maybe some of the 50-50s are just going Arsenal's way.
Yeah, they definitely are. As you see the ball going in behind. Now it's going to be with Trincão looking to carry it forward. There's a lovely run from Katamo, just ignored on that far side. And now see the ball with Hjulman once again, a very good player. Mon Hjulman, every time I see him, whether it be for Denmark or Sporting Lisbon, I think he's got all the physical attributes as well to really be successful in the Premier League, in my opinion. As we see Inacio now, he can look towards the left-hand side, where he's got Araujo for company. He just picked it up from Suarez. Suarez very deep in that one. Just not getting any joy on the attack so far, the Portuguese side.
No, it's basically been a game of defences so far. Sporting have defended admirably over the course of these 38 minutes that we've played thus far, restricting Arsenal to a handful of half chances, nothing clear cut, and the keeper in Silva is still yet to make a save for Sporting. And Arsenal, their defending hasn't been as strong. There has been openings for Sporting to utilise. Their attacks have just not panned out and haven't really tested David Raya either. But for the vast majority, they are just restricting and frustrating Sporting, which has mean they're getting sloppier and sloppier. If there is going to be a goal in this game, it is probably going to come from an error. It's just working which way it's going to come.
Yeah, exactly that. I think the longer it goes at 0-0, the more Sporting Lisbon maybe get that bit more confident that they can maybe take this to extra time. Of course, Sporting Lisbon did knock out Arsenal in a European competition at the Emirates in recent years, so they've got that confidence to take from it. As we now see Martinelli on the left again, looks to get the better of his man. He plays it across the face of goal, well held by Rui Silva. It was actually Zubimendi on the left. It was a weak football in from him, but not the greatest of balls, but good goalkeeping.
Yeah, he's just trying to force in at the near post. The keeper alert to it, and it was always going to be favourite to gather that. He was looking up, looking for some movement in the area, which just really wasn't there for Arsenal. Zubimendi couldn't do much more than what he did, to be honest.
Yes, it's won back again by Arsenal. Noni Madueke now the man in possession. Another big goal between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. This time it's Harry Kane with it, so it's 2-2 on the night. Well, I covered the first leg between Bayern and Real Madrid, and it was outstanding. Slightly annoyed that I'm not covering the second leg as well. 2-2 seems like a thriller in that one.
Saying this one isn't worth it.
It's been the slower game, that you can tell, with the difference in goals. One game's had 0, one game's had 4. Well, I hope our colleagues are enjoying themselves as we see Gabriel goes back to David Raya under a bit of pressure from Trincao. He plays a really poor ball, does David Raya. It's intercepted. They've got away with one massively. He apologises, does David Raya. As the forward ball from Goncalves is so poor. They've absolutely got away with one. I don't know what Goncalves has done in possession there, but here come Arsenal on the counter-attack. Well, if the score here, so it's a masterstroke, won't he? David Raya, you see Madueke on this far side, plays it through the legs of Araujo, and it goes behind for a corner kick, but that could have been a mess at the other end.
Yeah, really sloppy there by David Raya. Picked off by Gonçalves, who just needed to get out of his feet quicker. The ball wouldn't sit for him, and he immediately went down with his head in his hands. He couldn't quite believe the chance that had been squandered. Glorious opportunity. David Raya, you are a lucky, lucky boy.
Yeah, very lucky in the end, as we now just see this ready to be taken now. In swinging delivery from Noni Madueke on the near side. They've not really been able to make the most of these set pieces so far, have they? Arsenal, a lot of them overhit in the early stages of this one. Madueke, deep breath, holds his right arm up, takes the step up, hangs it up towards the back post, punched away by Rui Silva as far as Katama. Eze gets a foot in, and then it's going to be cleared away by Araujo. A good volleyed clearance in the end that can put Martinelli under a bit of pressure because he makes a mess of his first and second touch. He's still battling with Katama, comes away with it, and then Saliba just puts his arm across his man. It's going to be a free kick. Maybe it could have been a yellow card for Saliba. Just leaned his arm, like I said, across the face of Katama, who, by the way, great hustling should have said, from him just to keep possession there.
Yeah, so well to get away from Martinelli and hold on to the ball. Looking at the replay, it's a bit of a flap by Saliba. He's trying to hold him off, and in doing so, I think might have accidentally poked Katamo in the eyes. It's a sore one for the Sporting player. He hasn't been hit across the face, but a prod can do equal amount of damage if he prodded in the right place, and there he probably would just need to take a moment to get his vision to be unblurred, but it's definitely a free kick.
Yeah, free kick ready to be taken by the visitors. See some of the Sporting Lisbon fans, they look well and truly in full voice, don't they, in this one. Like I said, such a big game is this one for Sporting Lisbon and their fans. As we now see Marita, great turn from Hjulman to get away from Declan Rice. Two great holding midfielders who like to have possession. Ball in behind, and he's onside as well. Is Suarez, and this is an opportunity into the penalty area. He cuts inside onto his left boot, leaves it for Trincao. He recycles it to the left. Araujo takes some touches, goes onto his left foot again, chips it towards the back post. There's a chance for Katomo. It's off the post in the end. What a chance from him. He meets it on the full volley. He strikes the post, and it goes all the way out for an Arsenal throw-in on the far side. What a ball from Araujo. And there's the chance for Katomo. Like I said, strikes off the post.
Massive opportunity there for Sporting. What a hit that is by Katomo. Cuts right across it. Has David Raya beaten. All ends up, and it just smashes into the post and goes out for a throw-in. But they are pressing for a goal at the end of this first half of Sporting.
Yeah, they are. Arsenal looking so sloppy in possession at the back. Some of the mistakes they're making in terms of the passes, so poor from them. As here come Sporting Lisbon again. That looks like handball. How isn't that handball from Zubimendi? No free kick goes the way of Zubimendi, who goes down. Goncalves finds the pass for Trincao. That's really poor from him. Really soft in the challenge with Zubimendi. Martinelli looks to skip away from his man. Morita gets a foot in, and Arsenal just have lost all control in this one. A lot of empty seats in the far stand. Maybe going in for the half-time beverages, maybe snacks, but maybe because they can't deal with the nerves of this game as well. Saliba heads away, and then it's a bit of head tennis between a few players, and before it goes out for a Sporting Lisbon throw, Arsenal need half-time.
Yeah, they're desperate for half-time at the moment. They can't get a foothold on this game. Sporting running them ragged, pressing high up the field, creating errors, and looking like the only team that are going to get a goal here. Arteta just needs to get his side in at half-time and get some fresh orders in and get the confidence back, because they look nervous, do the Gunners. There's yet another goal in the game between Bayern and Real Madrid, and for the third time this evening, Real Madrid have taken the lead. It's not Arda Güler though, it's Kylian Mbappe. That's made it 3-2.
Wow, what a game in that one. As you now see, switch ball across towards Katomo. Nkapia heads away. Now it's going to be Hillman. I feel for our colleague who's got to put that into 30 seconds at half-time as well. That's going to be pretty tricky. Good footing from Zubimendi. I think it's an okay game so far actually for Arsenal. Mosquera's taken down. That's going to be a free kick. But like we said, Arsenal definitely in need of half-time here. Lost all control at the end of this half. Only the 1 minute of added time, which probably makes sense.
Yeah, there's barely been any stoppages whatsoever. Obviously, no goals, very few shots. I've only written down 5 attempts that are of note in this first half so far. There's been some stoppages for fouls, but nothing that's been too lengthy. I think 1 minute is absolutely spot on, and it will suit Arsenal to an absolute T.
Yeah, so now see Madueke goes across towards Zubimendi. Now it's once again not going to stick, but it ricochets for Eze. Can they create one chance before half-time here? Arsenal, Declan Rice on the left-hand side. He finds in the middle of the park. Now it's going to be with Eberechi. Turns away. He's got Martinelli for company. Goes for goal himself. Lashes it over the crossbar. You feel like that's going to be the final chance of the half. Eberechi just thought, why not go for goal with half-time about to loom upon us at the Emirates Stadium. Well, it's been a half of pretty much no opportunities for either side. We've seen some half chances, but the main talking point of this half is Jenny Katomo striking the post a few minutes before half-time. It'll give Sporting Lisbon the confidence in the second half that they can get back into this. Going into the break at the Emirates, Arsenal 0, Sporting Lisbon 0.
Half-time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katomo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with 2 different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Jenny Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance, but seeing his effort come off the woodwork and go out for a throw-in. Arsenal have not created a great deal. The closest they came was with two different efforts from the edge of the area from Gyökeres and Eze going over. Half time, it is Arsenal 0, Sporting 0 in a half of very few chances. Sporting have comfortably had the best opening. A lovely dinked ball across over the top by Araujo, finding Gianni Katamo, who on the volley smashed the outside of the post, leaving David Raya with no chance. We'll leave that there because we're now underway for the second half of the second leg of this Champions League quarter-final between Arsenal and Sporting. Goalless after the first period of 45 minutes. Of course, Arsenal have that slender one-goal lead advantage from the first leg as Eze whips in a cross, comfortably gathered by Silva, but immediately on the attack in the opening 20 seconds of this second half. There is a goal to tell you about in one of the other games as well, as Stockport have taken the lead away from home at Wimbledon, thanks to Josh Stokes finding the back of the net there. So in terms of the latest scores, it's 1-0 to Stockport over Wimbledon, 1 apiece between Luton and Northampton. And in the Champions League at half-time, Bayern Munich 2, Real Madrid 3, and it is 4 apiece on aggregate. Cracking quarter-final tie there, with the winner looking to face Paris Saint-Germain, who overcame Liverpool last night. There are no changes at the half-time interval, so I'll run you through the lineups in just a moment as Gyökeres tries to find Noni Madueke. Poor pass there by the Swede and cut off by Araujo, and maybe an opportunity here on the counter for Sporting. Morita diving into the Arsenal half. Lovely turn by Trincao. The back heel will find Gonçalves, and he'll lay it back towards Hjulmand, who will focus on holding on to possession. So for Arsenal, Raya in goal, Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel and Hincapié in the defence. Zubimendi and Rice, the holding midfielders. Madueke, Eze, Martinelli supporting Gyökeres up top. For Sporting, Silva in goal, Araujo, Inacio, Diamande and Quaresma in the back four. Morita and Hjulmand, the holding midfielders, with Gonçalves, Trincao and Katamo supporting the lone striker of Luis Suarez. I'll get the thoughts of Kieran Graham, my co-commentator, for this evening in just a moment, as there looked like there was a chance for Sporting to maybe whip the ball into the area, but the defence of Arsenal is enough to have them forced backwards. But now a chance here for Hjulmand. Gonçalves, Araujo away from Mosquera, gets a strike away, not too far, just wide of the left-hand post. Had David Raya sprawling, but doesn't find the target.
Good play, really good patient play to start this second half. He absolutely sends Mosquera, doesn't he? He puts it way wide in the end on his right boot. He's a natural winger that plays left back for Sporting Lisbon. He was man of the match in the game that I saw of them against Bodo Glimt. He was outstanding, had a goal as well, the all-important goal in the extra time period to put them in the lead overall. But yeah, good chance that he puts wide in the end. They've not tested David Raya yet, head of Sporting Lisbon. Maybe that early chance in this half match give them the confidence to dominate this half.
Yeah, of course they need a goal. They have to go all guns blazing, as Diamande does so well to bully Gyökeres off the ball and lay it in for Quaresma to bring the ball further forward. Poor play though by the defender. Equally poor pass by Saliba. Picked up by Katamo as the ball makes its way back towards Silva. He'll lay it to Gonçalo Inacio. In terms of the options from the bench for the two sides this evening, for Arsenal, the two keepers of Kepa Arrizabalaga and Tommy Setford. There's Ben White, Gabriel Jesus, Christian Norgard, Leandro Trossard, Kai Havertz, Harrison Dujak, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Max Staumann and Marley Salmon as options for Mikel Arteta. And then for Sporting, only the one backup keeper in the former Everton man of João Virginia, Zino De Bast, Giovanni Quenda, Georgios Vaginidis, Georgi Kokorashvili, Soliman Fai, Daniel Bragança, João Simoes, Flavio Gonçalves, Salvador Balopa, Rafael Nel and Ricardo Mangas, all options for the Portuguese outfit. We have a free kick for Arsenal, which Declan Rice will look to try and put into the area. No, he'll go short to Ebere Eze, who works the angle and goes towards Madueke on the right-hand side. He takes on Gonçalves, lays it back to Ebere Eze with space, looks to go for goal from range. That's not too far away. The keeper decided to let it go. He was confident it was going wide, but it looked closer than initially thought.
Yeah, it's really poor from a Sporting Lisbon point of view, in a sense that nobody's closing him down. They've all just let Ebere Eze shoot. You can't be doing that with a player who could be that good. It's a little bit wide in the end. You can tell that the goalkeeper definitely had his angles covered in that one. But yeah, good opportunity for Ebere Eze in that sense. Shot a piece in this second half.
Shot a piece so far. Inacio looking to launch the ball further forward to start a new Sporting attack. The nod down almost fell kindly to the man in green and white, but well mopped up by Declan Rice as he plays the ball back towards David Raya. Back towards the Arsenal captain. Rice asking for some movement and support. Goes to Saliba. Eze. Stat on our screen shows 8 attempts to 4 in Arsenal's favour, with 1 on target compared to Sporting's 0. Of course, Sporting have hit the post though. I'm trying to think back to the shot on target for Arsenal. Not entirely sure. I actually remember when that was. I think they might be counting the Zubimendi cross as a shot, as the back heel by Nkapie falls to Martinelli. The toe-in comes in from Trincao and goes out of play for a corner kick for the hosts.
Yeah, corner kick coming up for the home side. Well, their corners up until this point have been really poor, haven't they, for Arsenal, which is actually quite surprising. Sometimes they usually get that many corners. You'll see a couple poor. Not all of them. All of them so far have been quite underwhelming. So let's see if Declan Rice can up them in this half.
Yeah, the corners have been their saving grace at times this season. But can they score from yet another? So far, deliveries have not been good enough. It's Declan Rice's delivery. That's better, but Silva does really well to get that half a yard of space and gather it in the end under not a great deal of pressure.
Yeah, he does. Simple goalkeeping again. Another poor delivery from Declan Rice. I actually think Rui Silva's had a pretty good game in between the sticks for Sporting Lisbon when he's been called upon. His distribution, he's coming for the ball from crosses. He's played pretty well. Diamande forward ball isn't a great one, easily intercepted.
Morita will mop up for Sporting as he lays it towards the left-hand side now for the full-back of Maximiliano Araujo. Morita back to Diamande. Space here for Eduardo Quaresma. Away from Martinelli. Back it goes towards Ousmane Diamande. Arsenal trying to press high up the field. Sporting playing it around. Then a sloppy pass by Eduardo Quaresma. Goes straight out of play for a throw-in. Gifted possession straight back to Arsenal. And they'll take that all day long. They'll happily see the errors creep in to Sporting's game as Eze picks up possession. He'll try and drive down the left-hand side. Comfortably tackled in the end by Quaresma. I think he turned into that challenge, Ebere Eze, and he'll be helped up onto his feet by the Sporting man. It'll be a throw-in for Arsenal with Piero Hincapié. Doesn't have much in the way of movement ahead of him. Everyone's quite at walking pace at the moment here for the Ecuadorian. Eventually he takes the throw-in down the line for Martinelli, utilises his strength well. Rolls it in for Hincapié, not the grace of passes. Hincapié mops up, turns, loses possession to Trincao, turned away by Quaresma, which would give possession straight back to Arsenal, but they didn't really have any plan of what to do there, the Gunners.
No, they didn't really know what to do on the left-hand side, didn't have too much of an option. Gyökeres hasn't had a great game for Arsenal in terms of showing as an option when he's had the ball. A lot of sloppy touches, a lot of poor passes. There's a late challenge from Quaresma sliding into Hincapié. They've ended up having a hug between each other rather than maybe going at each other, which maybe they could have done on another day.
Yeah, very possibly. It's a late tackle by Quaresma, clattering into Piero Hincapié. Definitely a free kick, and just a wry smile and hug as we're seeing some players beginning to warm up, including the youngsters of Max Daumann and Marley Salmon. I wonder if we will see Daumann once again for Arsenal. Of course, he came off the bench in the first leg against Sporting. Didn't think he had the most impactful of appearances, but he wasn't exactly a bad performance by the 16-year-old. Throw in for Sporting now, in line with their own penalty area for Trincao, who's going to let that go for Quaresma to take instead. 54 minutes gone in this contest. You're listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Remains goalless between Arsenal and Sporting, but 1-0 to the Gunners on aggregate after that late winner in Lisbon from Kai Havertz, as Eze finds Zubimendi, tries to roll it into Martinelli. Quaresma under pressure from the Brazilian. Can't take any chances there and has to force it out for a throw-in. Good pressure by Martinelli. The pass by Zubimendi almost pitch perfect.
Yeah, almost was. Some nice moments there from Arsenal. Once again, it looks like they're actually going to make the changes now. Arsenal, it looks like Kai Havertz is going to be called upon. I wouldn't be surprised if this is for Gyökeres, maybe to try and... They've got a big game at the weekend. That's also something that maybe not much thought might be going into for the fans. They're just thinking about today, but massive game against Arsenal. You think Gyökeres would start that, and he's not having a good game today, so why keep him on in a game like this? But what a run this is from Madueke.
Lovely play by Madueke to get into the area, digs out a cross, headed up into the air by Inacio, not fully cleared. It'll fall to Martinelli on the volley, almost into the back of the net. Was always rising. Did it take a deflection? I don't think it did. It does go out of play for a goal kick, but that's got the fans on their feet.
Yeah, it has, and that's great from Madueke. Big fan of his. Think he's a really underrated player, and he's a lovely player to just take his man on, get a decent ball in. But in the end, the strike from Martinelli, very central, always rising over the bar, and it will be Gyökeres to make way.
Yeah, Victor Gyökeres has run his race against his former employers. Maybe they thought just to arrest him for the Manchester City game on Sunday as well. It's just the sole change in this stoppage. It's Kai Havertz that's come on in his stead, Kieran.
Yeah, Kai Havertz onto the field of play in this one. More like for like, isn't it? We know he's played in the 10 before. That's a poor ball from Madueke. He gets it back. He's still going into the penalty area. Madueke on the run, goes for goal, puts it side net in. It's a good chance for Madueke. He's come to life, hasn't he, in the second half, causing all sorts of problems.
Yeah, was able to hold on to it, drove away from the defence. I think he should be letting that go for Martinelli to take a shot. Instead, he continues his run, slices it, gets the power, and it flies into the side netting. And Martinelli can't believe that Madueke hasn't let that ball for him to go for goal himself. Maybe focusing a little bit too much on himself there, Madueke. Should have probably left it for the Brazilian.
Yeah, really, maybe could have done, but he's just got the confidence, hasn't he? So he's not stopping at the moment, and yeah, you gotta keep him playing, gotta keep feeding him the ball when moments like this are happening, because he's looking that good, as we now see Eberechi in possession.
Hincapié for Arsenal, going back towards Gabriel. Hincapié offers support to the left. Gabriel tries to thread it in towards Eze, comfortably intercepted by the Japanese international in Morita. Turned away by Gabriel again, though, from the Sporting midfielders pass as Hincapié and Rice combine. Ball over the top, won't find Havertz. Headed away by Quaresma, falls to Hjulmand, who brings it down, gets away from Martinelli, and then it's a Katamo that runs into traffic. Eze bundled over by Hjulmand. No fouls as the referee. Rice does so well to play the ball into Zubamendi, and now an opportunity here for Arsenal. Game just getting a little bit more stretched now. Mosquera over towards the right-hand side in Madueke. He'll try and take on Araujo once more. Little step over. Lovely defending there, though, by Maximiliano Araujo. It's been a cracking battle between those two so far, and this time it's the Sporting man that gets the better of him.
Yeah, really good battle, like you say, between these players so far, and Araujo is more attacking-minded, so he's going to get caught out at times. We've not been able to see a lot of that attacking. Yes, he had the chance to kick off this second half, but Sporting Lisbon have not come out really fighting so far.
Tayo Eden has just made it 2-0 to Stockport away from home at Wimbledon to consolidate their spot in 5th place in the League One playoff spots currently. It's the headed clearance down the line. Will it be picked up by Madueke? No, that will go out of play for a throw-in for Sporting right on the far touchline. Yeah, ball forward will find Katamo. Lovely dummy by the winger to set off Quaresma, who rolls it in for Trincao. Plenty of support ahead of him, and there's space on the left here for Morita. Suarez wants it, will try and find Gonçalves, well dealt with by the defending Martin Zubamendi, but it is picked up by Gonçalo Inacio. Trincao back towards Morita. No movement ahead of him, so has to turn and lay that back towards Ousmane Diomande. Hjulmand. 1-2s between himself and Inacio, then doing the same with Pedro Gonçalves. They're just toying with Arsenal at the moment with how they're playing the one-touch passing, trying to open up that gap to exploit. Doing well to hold on to possession. This is a bright bit of play here for Sporting at the moment. Arsenal doing well to keep their arms left, but the ball over the top for Martin Hjulmand will find Araujo. Trincao. Suarez wants it on the edge. Trincao does well to hold on to it, tries to force it through. In the end, it's Mosquera with the tackle, and Havertz will find Madueke, who's got pace. Can he get away from Ignacio? Needs a bit of support, Noni Madueke. Well tackled back by Morita, and then he clatters into Gonçalves. No foul, says the referee, and a chance here for Sporting to capitalise. It's going to be an opportunity here for Araujo, as Hjulman to his left. Hjulman back towards Araujo, digs out a cross, well blocked by Martin Zubimendi. Corner kick for Sporting.
Yeah, that should have been a free kick for Arsenal on the touchline. Madueke was absolutely taken down. He just touched it round his man, wiped out. In the end, Sporting Lisbon get away with one. Now they're going to have a set-piece opportunity of their own. I believe only their second corner of the game. Just seeing it back now, Madueke just touched it round. Gonçalves just almost clatters into him. It's not as much of a heavy collision as maybe it looked like on live viewing. It felt like Madueke wanted that contact, but he got it. In that sense, he's still down, Madueke.
Yeah, he's in a real spot of bother with his right knee, writhing in agony. Last thing Mikel Arteta will want is an injury before such a big game on Sunday. Of course, Saka still recovering from injury. He's not as certain to be involved at the weekend. And if Madueke's going to go off injured, there's every chance that it might have to be the youngster Max Dowman that starts.
Yeah, it could be. Max Dowman definitely could be coming on and maybe starting the weekend. That'd just feel once again almost set for him to have a moment, wouldn't it, away at Manchester City. What a game that's going to be. I am covering that game as well on Sunday, so thoroughly looking forward to that one. Man City have other things to focus on, though, as well, don't they? They want success in the FA Cup, of course, as well, which comes up after that game. The other semi-final will be Chelsea against Leeds, and Manchester City will be facing against the side who knocked out Arsenal in the last round in Southampton.
Yes, FA Cup weekend, of course, in a couple of weeks. Off-Team Studio Pictures focuses in on the travelling support of Sporting in full voice. Right behind their side, Max Dowman is stripped and ready to come on. I think he's just getting some final bit of instructions and maybe tying his shoes and getting his socks and shin pads on, but he will be on imminently by the looks of things. So much trust being placed on the 16-year-old. Very similar in how he's breaking into the squad, the likes of Bukayo Saka, Ethan Nwaneri, going further back to Jack Wilshere as well. Madueke really is in a spot of bother. He's doing best to go off on his own accord, but he is severely hobbling. Hopefully it's just a dead leg.
Last thing that Arsenal need is him going off. Such a creative player, but what a chance for Max Dowman to make his mark again. He'll be getting a standing ovation. He'll be getting a lot of applause. The Arsenal fans absolutely love him. They hail him as that the next one to come through, don't they? A really good player. I covered their game against Everton, where he came off the bench, scored that lovely solo goal in the final minutes, and you just felt there was something special, didn't you? We had for a long time with Max Dowman this season when he's got his rare appearances, but we now see this corner coming up for Sporting Lisbon.
Here's a corner for the Portuguese side towards the near post, flicked on, trying to cushion it towards a teammate. It does just hit the roof of the net on its way. I think it was Morita got the final touch to it. 63 minutes gone. There's a really poor pass by David Raya, sends it straight out of play for a throw-in for Sporting, gifting possession straight back. Errors creeping into the game once again for Arsenal.
Yeah, really poor from David Raya. He's had a few of those, hasn't he? Him, Saliba, Gabriel. It's weird. You would never see this a couple of months ago. You just wouldn't. From Arsenal, it really must be just that mentality, nerves type of thing. But yeah, it's gifted possession straight back.
Sporting in possession with Ousmane Diomande. Currently all of the possession in favour of Arsenal, 56-44, but the last five, can only assume, has been mostly Sporting as Dowman dispossesses Morita. Morita slides in well to dispossess and find Inacio. Dowman now on the deck will slowly get back up to his feet as Diomande now brings this ball further forward. The long ball headed away by Saliba. Araujo. Sporting growing into the game, but they need to start taking the game to the Gunners. They're still a goal behind. Maybe a little bit too slow in the build-up, and it's allowing Arsenal to get numbers back pretty easily. Yeah,
they are a goal behind, and that is the big moment, isn't it? That's the big key thing today, that they're not really fully going for it. They've had the 5 shots, I believe, in this game. Sporting Lisbon, they've got to ramp it up a bit.
And they're looking to do just that as Morita spreads it over towards the right-hand side in Katamo. Looking to get away from Hincapié onto his left boot. Runs into traffic in the form of Martinelli. Still holds on to possession. Eventually rolls that back for Quaresma. Inacio over the top, looking for the run of Trincao, headed away by Gabriel. Falls to Katamo, gets it out of his feet. The strike takes a big deflection. Is that a push by Mosquera? They're appealing for a penalty. Are the Sporting players? A corner kick has been awarded. Of course, it will be checked by VAR, but Sporting players are furious.
Big call, really, really big call, because it looks like Araujo just has a simple tap in. Mosquera pushes him. I tell you what, he pushes him. But why is Araujo going down? He's literally there. All he has to do is stay on his feet, which easier said than done. There's not a lot of contact on him. There is a hand on him, but is there 2 hands on him? I'm not too sure. All he has to do is jump a little bit, and he's got a header tap in. He really does. We're going to see a different angle of it. Does he put 2 hands on him? He slightly touches the bottom of his back. That's disappointing from Araujo, in my opinion. What a chance that could have been. Corner coming up.
Yeah, completely agree. There's definitely 2 hands on the back of Araujo, but there's never once a pushing motion. It's more just he doesn't want to run into him, so he's trying to just keep his arms out to keep that buffer in. So I think Araujo really could have got the touch to get the equaliser there, but corner kick for Sporting, whipped in, punched away by David Raya. It will be picked up by Jenny Katamo. Back towards Araujo, who skips away from Max Damon with ease. 35 yards out, goes for goal. Really comfy save for David Raya. In fact, I say 35, I probably would say it was closer to 40 yards there.
Yeah, it's a team effort as well, but they've got to get shots off. They've got to try and get back into this game, and Sporting Lisbon are finally starting to get on top in this one. Arsenal, the longer it goes at 0-0, like we said, they'd get that little bit more nervy. Their fans would get more nervy. They're seeing the same thing happen to their football club as of late when it gets to the crunch stages, but Arsenal needing to regain a bit of control.
Zimmermendi inside the centre circle for the Gunners. Slowly pressurised by Morten Hjulmund. Finding Gabriel. Ball over the top will look for the run of Martinelli. He won't get on the end of it. Havertz trying to make himself a nuisance as well. Katamo will mop up and hammer the ball away from danger. Finding Hjulmund, who turns into traffic into Zimmermendi. Falls to Morita, who flashes the ball in for Luis Suarez, who gets away from Hincapié to find Trincao. Trincao almost away from Gabriel there. I think maybe got a little bit of a kick for his troubles there. The Brazilian will run off that collision. But Arsenal do win possession back. Still goalless in our game. 2-0 to Stockport at Wimbledon. 1 apiece between Luton and Northampton. And remains Bayern 2, Real Madrid 3 in the other Champions League quarter-final. All games that you can listen to on our surface as Daumann looks to take on Araujo. Back it goes to Eze. Tries to caress the ball through towards Kai Havertz. Appealing for a handball. No free kick, says Francois Letexier. As Suarez gets away from Zubamendi, rolls it in for Trincao, forces out wide for Katamo. Sporting come forward again here on the right-hand side. Drop of the shoulder to get away from Martinelli. Will look to try and get towards the byline. Needs a bit of support here, the winger. Digs out across. It's dangerous. Raya's done really well to get over to his left-hand side, because that might have actually been sneaking in.
Yeah, it's very hit and miss. Is Katamo. He's quick with the ball. His end product not the best. Decision making not the best. He almost slowed it down, then went on the outside. That was never going to work. He almost played into the Arsenal defender's hands in that sense. But yeah, David Raya certainly had to be alert at his front post.
Eze rolls it back for William Saliba. And then threads a lovely ball through towards Declan Rice. Maybe an opportunity here for the Gunners. Rice going towards the left for Martinelli. He's got space to run into. Getting into the area. Martinelli poor dribbling in the end. Running straight into Quaresma, who does well to get his foot to it and then clear the ball out for a throw in.
Yeah, it's good defending from Quaresma. It's been a good battle. I think Quaresma's done better than I maybe thought he would out on that right-hand side up against the pace of Martinelli. But he's a great defender. More than anything, he's Quaresma. So when it's got 1v1, he's done a great job. A couple of changes getting readied. Giovanni Quenda, who has missed quite a lot of this season with injury, back fully fit, getting back to fitness, getting ready to come up.
And Daniel Bragança looks like is also going to enter the field of play, likely in the next stoppage. But the throw-in now taken, and it looks like Hincapié has taken too long and maybe given away a foul throw at the same time. So a gift of possession straight back to Sporting. and this might now give them the opportunity to make these changes. But we are past the halfway stage of this second half. It is goalless between Arsenal and Sporting, and takes us through to the full time of the 90 will be Mr. Kieran Graham.
Yeah, and thank you, Will. As we've just seen, Diamandi just caught the toe of Kai Havertz. Give him a shove, that's pathetic. From Kai Havertz, he goes down trying to con the referee on something. Absolutely nothing happened. That's got to be a free kick for Sporting Lisbon. It is. Gabriel brings his man down, and the change is getting ready to be made. There's going to be a yellow card that's going to go the way of Mikel Arteta. He hasn't stopped moaning at the referee for the last 10 minutes or so. So he's been yellow carded now. Looking forward to seeing Giovanni Quenda in this one. Of course, made that move, didn't he, at the start of the season to Chelsea for around 50 million. He's back on loan with Sporting Lisbon for now. He returned from injury last game off the bench. He'd been missing since the start of December.
Wow.
So he's back from injury, a big injury as well. Played 24 minutes of that game. Had a decent impact last time out. 18 years of age, a really special player. Good to see him back, and let's see if he can make a mark. 20 minutes is enough, isn't it, for to get him on the ball a few times. Let's see if he can do what he wants, what he feels he can do to help his side. As the ball goes out for a throw-in for the home side. Just waiting confirmation of the players who made way. It was Katamo who made way for Quenda. There was another substitution being prepared that hasn't been made as of yet. For
it looks like it has.
Lisbon.
Braganza on for Gonçalves. It looks like it was the other change.
Gonçalves making way. That's 15 minutes. Sporting Lisbon having more of the ball. Had one more attempt as Kai Havertz knocks it down. Fraser, he's going to hit it on the volley. Really poor effort from him, and another one that misses the target.
The stats say there was a shot on target for Arsenal. I cannot remember it for the life of me. And with the shooting that we've seen so far from the Gunners, they are misfiring on all cylinders. Havertz with a knockdown. It falls at a favourable height for Ezzy to go for it on the volley. But he is being very tightly marked. It would have taken something incredibly special to beat Silva from that range. He just never got his angles right.
Yeah, he didn't. Another volley that goes over the bar is Subimendi, who hit the target in the first half for Arsenal with a very tame effort. Simple save for Rui Silva. As we now see Martinelli plays it back for Havertz. Now it's into Martinelli again. Nice football from Arsenal, trying to keep it in the final third. Ball back into Havertz again. He goes down under the challenge. The free kick's going to go against Kai Havertz. I don't think it's for a foul. I think he's slipped and maybe taking his man out at the same time. So the free kick goes against him. Kai Havertz, quite similarly to Gyökeres, struggling to make his mark.
Yeah, he is. I mean, a lot of the Arsenal attack today have just not been at the races. Decisions are now going against them. I think they're trying to resort to the dark arts to try and get over the line here. As Quenda's pass cannons into Martinelli, but Sporting still hold on to possession. But chance now for the Gunners. Yeah,
it's his Eberechi Eze coming forwards. It was poor from Maritu, then steps back in. He recovers it in the end. Eze once again quite poor. Not had a great game, has he? Eberechi Eze, that is for sure. As we now see Hjulmand in possession. He's going to turn away from his man, play it towards the left-hand side for Iheanacho. That's going to be with Morita again. 73 minutes on the clock. Can we find a goal in this one? Can we see late drama in this one as well? As you see, Iheanacho turns away from his man, finds Morita. We've probably hit that stage of the game where Sporting Lisbon have to go all out. They've got to start creating chances. They've got to get shots off. I think the more these seconds are going to tick by, the more Arsenal are maybe just going to drop a little bit deeper just to try and see out this victory over the aggregate score rather than going for the victory on the night. But here's Araujo on the left-hand side, ball into the penalty area, takes a deflection, goes into the hands of David Raya, who's going to bowl it out fairly quickly for Mosquera. He plays a terrible ball, and that really is nerves. That is just feeling pressure, because what on earth has he even just tried doing? That's just pressure on the player.
Yeah, lack of communication and a lot of nerves creeping in there for Mosquera. Really sloppy pass, gifting possession straight back to Sporting, who are all over the Gunners at the moment. There is another goal to tell you about as well, by the way. Luton, 2-1 up now at home to Northampton. Kai Naismith getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, this is going to be a free kick that goes the way of Arsenal for some reason. I'm not too sure. I don't know why on earth this is a free kick for Arsenal. It's Quenda that was pushed to the ground. Weird one.
Yeah, it is a weird one. I can only assume it was for a dive, because I think that's the same reason that Kai Havertz gave away the free kick in the first place, because the referee thought he'd simulated going to the ground and then handled it in the process. And Quenda has been adjudged to have done the same thing.
Well, if he's given a free kick for a dive, then you'd book him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's booked him. So, really, really strange.
Yeah, some of the decision making has been peculiar. We're seeing some images now on our off-tube studio pictures. A lot of nervous faces in Arsenal red and white in the stands today at the Emirates Stadium. I don't think you'll find many fans currently watching live in North London that are confident that the Gunners will be able to see this out.
Yes, it's going to go for a corner for Arsenal now. Quaresma gets a foot in, stabs it behind, and like I said, it will go for a set piece the way of the Gunners. Their corners so far have been very underwhelming, haven't been good ones up until this point. But Declan Rice is taking his time, getting ready to go over as Gabriel Jesus. He's going under some instructions with the coaching staff of the Gunners. Declan Rice not looking the happiest of players as he moves out to that near side to whip in this corner. Zubimendi, Mosquera and Hincapié at the back post. They all make the front post run. It's still going to be hung up to the back post where the header's won by Havertz, comes off Quaresma and out for another corner.
Well, it's actually purposely met the head of an Arsenal player, which you have to say is a better corner kick on that front, but all the ones to the back post just never look like they're likely to work out, and they're fortunate they've come away with another corner kick. It looks like it's going to be Dalman's going to take this corner. Yeah,
Dalman with an in-swinging delivery. As you see this ready to be taken, so it's 6 minutes on the clock. There's been no goals in the other game either in this second half between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. They could be set for extra time. Max Dalman whips in, great delivery as well. It's an inviting one. And a free kick's going to be given towards Sporting Lisbon. It's the best delivery of the lot so far from the set pieces. I'm not sure if Max Dalman's ever taken many so far. But yeah, free kick given. I'm not really too sure what for. It probably should have been another corner.
Yeah, I think it should have been another corner. Sporting might have got away with that by the looks of things. I don't think there's anywhere near enough contact on the goalkeeper for that to be warranted, as Morita is going to make way for Sporting. João Simoes coming on in his stead.
Yeah, Simoes coming onto the field of play as Gabriel Jesus is getting ready to come on very soon as well. I think you'd presume that's for Eze, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus. Havertz just drops it a little bit deeper, adds a bit more of a physical body to help out. But we now just see in possession once again. Inacio goes across towards Diomande. Quenda finds Hjulmand into the middle for Bragança, who we've not really seen anything of since he came onto the field of play. He's played a really poor ball around the corner for Trincao, intercepted by Diamond, puts it through the legs of Hjulmand, turns the burners on. He's been dragged the whole way. He goes down. No free kick given. How is that not a free kick for Arsenal? And then Quenda with one of the worst passes you'll ever see. I mean, the quality at times, Will, today. It's like we're watching a championship game. Well, that's not even doing the championship justice. I mean, in a sense, the quality we've seen at key stages, so poor.
Yeah, it's so poor. I mean, Max Dalman's been pushed in the head in that build-up. It hasn't been spotted, and it's been let go. The referee was decent in the first half, but second half his performance has been really, really poor. And then the quality that we've seen so far from both these sides is, it's not hard to imagine why it is still goalless in this game, because there's just not been the star quality that really should be on show. We are seeing a double change. It's Eze that is coming off as we expected, as is Martinelli, and it will be Gabriel Jesus and Leandro Trossard that come on.
Yeah, two experienced players, maybe not in terms of success within this competition, but just in general of their career, getting ready to come on. Trossard's first touch to a spread ball for Mosquera. Over to the far right side, Mosquera driving forwards, looks to get the better of Bragança, plays it down the line. Max Dalman, there's a poor challenge on him, and there's going to be a yellow card for Araujo. I'm not sure he can have many complaints. He's pretty late on that one.
Oh yeah, really, really late there. Maximiliano Araujo trying to just sneak in on Dalman. It clearly catches the top of his boot. Really, really saw one. Always going to be a free kick and a yellow there.
Yeah, yellow card in the end goes the way of the Sporting Lisbon left back as we await for this free kick to be taken. Declan Rice is the man over it. 79.5 minutes on the clock. Arsenal 0, Sporting 0, but Sporting Lisbon struggling to mount any real fight back. Oh, come back so far. They'll be happy in terms of the fact, I mean, they've stayed in this game up until the 80th minute. That is very important for them, but it means nothing if they don't take advantage of it. Is this free kick ready to be whipped in by Declan Rice? It's a dangerous delivery. He's evaded absolutely everybody. Backheel from Havertz. He's backheeled it into his own foot. As you now see Max Dowman now into the penalty. A step over from him. Comes away from Suarez. Max Dowman plays it all the way back for Declan Rice. And he's going to recycle it for Zubimendi now, who's in the chase with Bragança. Hincapié with a forward ball. Easily intercepted by Quaresma. Now it's going to be Trincao. Ball in towards Simoes. To the left-hand side for Suarez. Poor touch again as Max Dowman dancing feet away from his man. Nice play from him once again. And Arsenal can come on the attack. It's Trossard. Looks for a dinked ball in behind. Takes a deflection. Is it going to go out and play for a corner? No, it isn't. Araujo does well to win a goal kick.
Yeah, and I think Sporting just begin to realise that time is of the essence. They are trying to speed things up as much as possible, but it's getting a little bit more chaotic because of it. They're not really attacking with a great deal of fluidity. They're being hemmed and pressed back, and Arsenal are sort of matching them pace for pace. You just don't know where this goal is going to come from for the visitors.
There you go. As we now see Quaresma goes back to Rui Silva. Rui Silva still in possession. 81 minutes on the clock. 0-0 still between these two sides. Ball in behind towards Quaresma. Is battling with Saliba. Almost been as a striker. That's just silly from Quaresma. I mean, why on earth would you foul your man in that situation? I don't know. And that was maybe him realising he's out of position.
Yeah, he got a little bit of a nosebleed there, being so far up the field. He almost rugby tackled Saliba to the floor. Very sloppy tackle in the end by Quaresma. Always a free kick for the Gunners. Few full-time scores let you know the two games in League One have now finished. Stockport have beaten Wimbledon by 2-0, and Luton have held on for a 2-1 victory over Northampton.
Yes, the Arsenal fans still very nervous. They know what their club are capable of, don't they, in this one. Anything can happen in the remainder of it. Diamante's header away is a poor one. It's only as far as Trossard, who gives it for Hincapié. Across to Trossard again, turns away from his man, plays it through the legs of Trincao. Now it's going to be Gabriel. Hincapié is going to dominate. He thought Trossard was making the run. Once again, that's a communication problem, which we've said a few times. Yeah,
it's been a recurring theme in this game for both these sides. Passing just hasn't been the name of the game, and it means that Arsenal continue to be in the spot bother in looking for this goal. But we have to take into account, at Sporting, it took until the 91st minute for them to score, so there's still time for them to get on the score sheet.
Yes, there definitely is. There's Kai Havertz with some great press. He's won a corner as well. Sporting Lisbon playing out for the back, so poor in that instance. Araujo's frustrated with the linesman, but Kai Havertz, that's all Arteta can really ask of some of his players at this latter stage. Right decision as well. It came off the heel of Simoes, but it was great pressure.
Yeah, fantastic pressure by Arsenal there to ensure that they won a corner kick. And while the last delivery from Dowman was the best of the lot from a set-piece point of view, let's see if he can make it 2 for 2.
Let's see if he can. It's going to be an in-swinging delivery from the Arsenal youngster, which is in this time towards the back post. Decent delivery for the head of Trossard. He hits the post. The goalkeeper completely rooted to the spot. It sounds obvious to say, but if it is the target, he scores. The goalkeeper nowhere near it, and he crashes it off the post. Does the Belgian. That would have been game over. A goal for Arsenal would make it game over. This time it's Arsenal's turn to strike that post, the same post that Katomo striked in the first half, as we now see Saliba turns away from Simoes, plays it down the line for Mosquera in the penalty area. Nice turn from him, who looks towards Max Dowman, driving at Trincao, cuts him to his left foot, checks away again, and he's going to play it back for Saliba. Takes a touch, he's going to look for a cross in towards the back post. Terrible delivery from Saliba, but big chance for Trossard.
Yeah, big chance. I mean, from a set piece, two of the smallest players combining from a cross to a header. Trossard unmarked at the far post. Silva completely caught out. Inches to the right hand side, it's in the back of the net, because Silva is expecting that header to go back into the area for someone to flick in from the middle of the park. So unlucky there, Arsenal.
Yes, we now see Zubimendi over towards Jesus, who looked like he may have been offside, but he's got the better of Diamande. What a move that is, and he's put his shot side net in. Good chance again from Gabriel Jesus. This time he tried to catch the goalkeeper out. He's in a crossing position and he tries to slide it in towards that near post. Couple of changes coming up for Sporting Lisbon as well, but good chance for Jesus.
Yeah, difficult chance as well. Just so well to get away from Diamande. Then it's a really tight angle. Maybe he should try and roll it into the middle of the park for Dowman to get on the end of. But he tries to wrong foot the goalkeeper and squeeze it in the tightest of angles, and he doesn't quite get it right. It looks like Vagianidis and Rafael Nel are both entering the field of play. Trincao, one of the players that's coming off. I missed the other though.
Yeah, Trincao never really able to get going in today's game. That's how desperate they are, subbing off key players just for anybody to try and make their mark in this one. Rafael Nel did score a goal in that comeback in extra time against Bodo Glimt as Gabriel Jesus wins it back. Good challenge from Hjulman. They need a bit of aggression, don't they, in this one. It's now Quenda in possession. He's got an overlapping run from Vagianidis. He uses him as well on the right hand side. It's Vagianidis up against Hincapie. Back towards Quenda again, who's not really got too many options right now. As we now see the ball whipped in. It looks like it was Quaresma that made way for Vagianidis as well. So right back for today's game. As we now see Havertz on the counter-attack. 86 minutes on the clock, still 0-0 between these two. And I think at this stage, weirdly, it looks like Arsenal are pushing for another goal, doesn't it, at this stage of the game? But I'm sure they just would love to kill the clock down as well, as we see Trossard in the penalty area, puts it through the legs of Diamande. Strong defending from him though, and Sporting Lisbon clear their lines.
Yeah, they're hoping for that second goal, Arsenal, to completely kill the game off so they can relax a little bit for the end of this tie. For as long and as dominant as they are currently in terms of possession and keeping Sporting pegged back inside their own half, one error, one breakaway, and it could all go completely sideways and upside down for Arsenal.
Yeah, it definitely could, couldn't it, in this one? As we now see Leandro Trossard shifts it to the right for Mosquera, who's going to carry it forward. Nice play from him. Then he finds Kai Havertz, who turns away, looks towards Declan Rice, opens it up, finds the right hand side again for Kai Havertz. Declan Rice again. He's going to go back for Saliba. Forward ball into Mosquera, across for Declan Rice. Now it's going to be Mosquera again. Glances left and right, almost scans around him. Nobody there, but then he takes too long. He almost gets tackled. He picks his pass just. Max Dowman to the right hand side for Havertz. Step overs from him. Back to Dowman. Now it's going to be Havertz again. Across towards Declan Rice. Saliba. Back for Gabriel. And Vagianidis wins his header. That goes for an Arsenal throw to Mikel Arteta. What on earth is he doing? He's trying to waste a little bit of time by running off with the ball to give instructions to Trossard. I don't think he really cared about what he was saying to Trossard. I think he was just trying to slow the game down.
Master of the dark art, he can be, Mikel Arteta. And it's a dangerous game to be playing, particularly when he's already on a yellow card.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that yellow card for Arteta as well. As we now see Trossard cuts onto his right boot. He's up against Quenda. He's not been able to get involved, has he, Quenda? I feel like since those subs, Sporting Lisbon have barely even had a shot, or even got into the final third, never mind a shot so far. The game management being pretty good from Arsenal in this second half. Ball in towards Trossard, just dominating things are Arsenal. They really are. I'd be shocked if Sporting Lisbon had another attack in this game, just because of how it's going. And I think Arteta will be happy in that sense, as we see Zubimendi cuts back to find Gabriel. Of course, on an ideal world, this should be game over by now for Arsenal with no real worry. But they're not being able to find that goal as of yet. Here's Jesus though into the penalty area, looking towards Hincapie, and it's cleared away. And here comes Simoes on the counter. He plays the ball in towards Suarez, and can Sporting Lisbon finally create some chances to try and take this game to extra time? It's Araujo on the left, stabs it in towards Simoes. He's got Araujo ahead, didn't use him in the end. It's going to be Bragança across for Diamande, who has Hjulman for company. Now it's once again in towards his man. It's going to be Quenda, who cuts inside, whips it in. Dangerous delivery towards the back post. Mosquera heads away, and Havertz can find a teammate. As we now see ball down the line, looking towards Iheanacho. Real Madrid have just got a red card in their big game. Camavinga came off the bench and has been given 2 yellow cards since then. Ball to the back post there. Quenda can't keep it alive, and Trossard can counter-attack, and here is a dangerous counter for Arsenal. Trossard driving straight through the heart of the midfield, plays it to the left for Hincapie into the penalty area. His cross well blocked by Vagianidis as we approach the 90th minute.
Yeah, a decent counter-attack there by Arsenal. Don't think there was enough support to really make use of it and get that elusive goal. But just to bring the ball up the other end of the field and wind down the clock, that could be so pivotal in deciding the outcome of this contest as we tick over the 90. 4 minutes at a time shown at the end here.
Yeah, absolutely can be pivotal, as there's only the 4 minutes. So Sporting Lisbon, they've got to wake up at some stage. They just haven't been able to get going, have they, in this at all? As we now see the ball go behind for a throw in, and I think it's probably deserved a 0-0 today, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been a very even contest. Not a great deal of clear-cut opportunities. Both sides have hit the post. I think if there was a late winner in this game, the losers would feel very hard done by in this. So a draw is probably fair, but Arsenal have got a late corner here to maybe break the hearts of Sporting once again.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was handball initially from Havertz. Seen it back again. Maybe it was actually his chest that controlled it down. Hjulman not happy with the referee. The referee's had an odd game anyway, not necessarily that decision, just in general. But it's been all Arsenal who are obviously taking their time to take this corner. Declan Rice in no rush to do so for the in-swinging delivery, as we're waiting for it now. Declan Rice holds up his left arm, hangs it up towards the back post to get out of play. Declan Rice's corners have been absolutely woeful today.
They have, uncharacteristically so. He's normally the most reliable player on the field for Arsenal, and I mean defensively and how the game has been orchestrated in the middle of the park, he's had a decent game on that front, but his deliveries have been so poor and wasting valuable chances for the Gunners with still 2 minutes 20 to go.
Yeah, and there's a big moment in the Champions League. Bayern Munich may have just sent themselves through in the last minute. They made it 3-3 on the night, 5-4 on aggregate. A huge moment from Luis Diaz, who got on the score sheet in the first leg as well. But here's a late chance for Sporting Lisbon themselves, as Araujo shows way too much to Mosquera. Great defending from him, but it goes for a throw-in with around 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, this could be last chance saloon. They're not going to launch into the area with a long throw. They're going to just try and work out this opening. But this has to end in a shot for Sporting.
Yeah, it does. Hjulman in towards Bragança. He plays it to the left-hand side. Terrible pass from him. Goes out of play for a throw-in. And it sums it up for Sporting Lisbon today. Never got going.
No, never got going, never looked dangerous enough in the final third. And they sort of played into Arsenal's hands at times. They haven't played with enough intensity or pace, and they've been pretty poor in that regards in terms of their game management. I don't think they haven't done enough to deserve losing, but they've not done enough to deserve to win. And it looks like it's a handball by Gabriel Jesus here. It's going to be a free kick for Sporting at the death with a minute to go. Chance them to launch it into the area. Yeah,
ready to get it launched in. There's Gabriel Jesus. He brought it down.
That's hit the chest. That hasn't hit his hand at all.
Yeah, that's a poor decision from the referee in the end. That didn't look like a handball, but Rui Silva hangs it up towards the back post. David Raya, great goalkeeping. He instantly balls it out. I thought he was going to hold on to it for a bit longer, but it's a great throw towards Trossard on the attack. Will he go for goal himself? I thought he should have just kept running down the line. He doesn't. He went inwards, and he's giving the ball away. And here comes Sporting Lisbon in the last minute. Havertz tries to take the yellow card. In the end, it's cleared away by Hincapie. It should have been a foul from Havertz. The intent of the challenge, trying to bring his man down. But we see a final chance coming up for Sporting Lisbon. Both sets of fans watching on extremely nervously, as there's going to be now a yellow card for the Sporting Lisbon manager as well. So yellow card apiece for the coaching staff, as Giovanni Quenda is ready to launch this one in for a long throw-in now. And he does throw it inwards towards the head of Diamande. It's cleared away only as far as Simoes opens up, goes for goal. He's put inside netting. What a moment in this game. 10 seconds overtime, and Simoes has almost levelled it. What a big moment that almost was.
Yeah, absolutely massive. It looks like that is the final attack of the game as well. Let off for Arsenal at the last. Simoes with that opportunity from the edge of the area, just hooking it slightly too far to the left-hand side and into the side netting. I feel like if it was on target, David Raya likely would have had it covered anyway, but Sporting a matter of inches from getting that elusive equaliser. The final whistle has been blown. It has finished 0-0 between Arsenal and Sporting. Arsenal progress 1-0 on aggregate and make it to successive Champions League semi-finals.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck!